Okay, I set that right there. How's it going, everybody? So the setup might get, I don't know. My setup's been getting janky lately. Uh, but I'm sorry. I'm kind of tired. I didn't get much sleep, but that's regardless. This series, I was thinking today, and I was thinking about how when people like make comments and judgments about people and they don't know them, then those judgments aren't well received. And even if it's advice or um things that you feel like are good things, inherently good things, um, if you I would think if you don't know that person, that whatever that criticism, constructive criticism, judgment call, whatever, can be seen as all not hostile but negative, and it's just I feel like if you know people, sorry, I don't know if the volume's good. I can't get the feedback in my ears, at least from these headphones. But I think that if you know people, people are a lot more receptive to receiving your criticism, receiving your comments. And when I read my Bible for the first time, or at least when I read it for myself, it opened my eyes to a lot of things, and especially the person of Jesus. Now, when I hear things on the media, we speak about Jesus as if he's like a. Sorry, I'm turn it up. When we see about Jesus, we speak about him as if he's like a ghost, almost like a phantom. You know, we say Jesus would love people, and that's true. But Jesus, especially described in the Bible. He's very complex. Like he's not just a cookie cutter one dimensional figure. He gets angry, he gets happy, he gets sad. He does a lot of stuff. So in his web series, and if this doesn't work, this volume thing, I'm gonna like switch it off. Um, but okay. But I'm kind of insecure about that because I'm like it stopped working, at least in terms of feedback. So if it's too loud, let me know. Um, but Jesus is a complex figure, and in this series, I'm gonna try to commit to it. I know with my other stuff I haven't committed, but I'm gonna try to commit to this because it just seemed like a good idea to help people understand uh Jesus, his character, and what he calls for people, so that people can get a greater context. Because our culture, at least in my opinion, has lost. They see Jesus more of a stranger now. So, given he's just like he tells people to do stuff, he calls people to give surrender their lives and stuff. Sorry, he calls people to surrender their lives. But if he's a stranger to you, that's intimidating. That's incredibly intimidating. And then people call it a cult and all that stuff, and they use these people, they use these cults, they use slimy tactics, they use like a what is it, a carrot and stick kind of thing. They do a bunch of other stuff, but a lot of psychological manipulation that gets you devoted, and it's not even like a thing that you have volunteered for yourself. It's like we lure you in being nice, and then we'll psychologically keep our grip on you. And when people leave, they're left, they're scarred. They have to get a bunch of therapy and stuff. And in this, and I like to think with Jesus, it's all voluntary. You come, you leave, the door is open, and it's like if you come into Jesus, like if he's a person in a room, and he always leave that door open, you know, you don't have to sit here and be like, oh, um, Jesus, I like to leave now. He's like, nah, you can't leave, man. You do this, do this for life. But the thing is just, yeah, and that's just what I want to point out. But let's get to the actual scriptures. I'm gonna read from the book of John, and I'm gonna go from number one, and I'm just gonna break it down, and in my opinion about it. Okay, so I'm gonna start at I could go back, but I'm just gonna start at John chapter 1, verse 35. The following day, John was again standing with two of his disciples. As Jesus walked by, John looked at him and declared, "Look, there is the Lamb of God." When John's two disciples heard this, they followed Jesus. Jesus looked around and saw them following. What do you want? He asked them. They replied, Rabbi, which means teacher. So they said, Teacher, where are you staying? Come and see, he said. It was about 4 o'clock in the afternoon when they went with him to the place where he was staying, and they remained with him the rest of the day. Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, was one of these men who heard what John said and then followed Jesus. Andrew then found his brother Simon and told him, We have found the Messiah, which means Christ, which means anointed one. Then Andrew brought Simon to meet Jesus. Now, before I finish to 42, I want to just go from 35, the ones I read from 35 to 41. So in these passages, these people, they noticed John's two disciples, and who was this? Andrew. Oh, he was one of those men. So that included one of the guys. His name's Andrew, and they said, "You're the Messiah," So something about Jesus attracted their attention, and they say, "You're the Messiah," and he didn't. What he didn't do was affirm what they said. He said, "What do you want? What are you seeking? What do you want from me?" And you see a lot of these people. I guess for me, I like to say in terms of that encouragement, it's an invitation, but also it puts less pressure on that person, in terms of their devotion to him. If they make a judgment call to him, he asks them to clarify, what do you mean? And then they say, what is it? Rabbi, where are you staying? And he said, come and see, come follow me and see. That's the only way you're going to see where I'm staying. And they followed him and they stayed with him the whole night. Remain with him with the rest of the day. So he was worth sticking around. And so with that, I don't know. I mean, I guess that's it. He was worth sticking around. If he was boring, as you see later in the later chapters, he said some hard stuff that people walk away from. And they just like, man, he's saying this stuff. And he said, like, you got to eat the flesh and drink the blood. And they say, man, you got to eat his flesh and got to drink his blood. Now we know later in the text that he doesn't mean that literally. He means that figuratively. I'm not going to even get to the stuff like the Eucharist and stuff, but he says that stuff. And some people find it hard. And then he tells his other disciples, well, what do you think about this, teacher? It's hard, yes, but they say, hey, you got the words to life. So they say the stuff you're talking about, that stuff is worth it. That stuff is worth it. So maybe, I don't know if they were literally thinking like, man, maybe he's talking about his flesh, his actual flesh and his blood. But for them, they were already convinced that like, man, he already been saying some stuff that was enough for me to ditch everything and follow him. So he has to have some life to this. There has to be some reasonable point to this, something that's worth following. So let me continue. Let's continue. Again, if this thing ain't gonna go through, it's not gonna go through. And if this thing is way too loud, please lower your volume. Okay. Okay, starting from 42. Then Andrew brought Simon to meet Jesus. Looking intently at Simon, Jesus said, your name is Simon, son of John, but you will be called Cephas, which means Peter, which means a stone. The next day, Jesus decided to go to Galilee. He found Philip and said to him, come follow me. Philip was from Bethsaida. I'll say Bethsaida. Andrew and Peter's hometown. Philip went to look for Nathanael and told him, they have found the very person, Moses. Let me see. 45. Moses and the law. So that's what it says from the Greek. Moses and the law. And the prophets wrote about. His name is Jesus, the son of Joseph from Nazareth. Nazareth, exclaimed Nathanael. Can anything good come from Nazareth? Come and see for yourself. And so you see this common theme of just take a look and see it for yourself. Um, and so as they approached Jesus, Jesus said, "Now there is a genuine son of Israel, a man." Oh, sorry. Now here is a genuine son of Israel, a man of complete integrity. So as you know, all Nathaniel did was come. All was the same. Philip did was bring Nathaniel with, and Jesus seen something about him, and he was like, this guy is a complete. He's a true son of Israel. Was it a genuine son of Israel, a man of complete integrity? So he comments on him. He comments on, I guess, something against some about him, maybe his wardrobe, maybe his demeanor. But you see Nathaniel comments, Nazareth. Can being good come from Nazareth? So he already had a negative thought about Nazareth, but Jesus still came. Hey man, this guy's an Israelite. And he says, how do you know about me? So he don't just take this comment. He dissects it or he questions it. He say, how do you know me? You know, here's Jesus saying, I can see you under the fig tree before Philip found you. And he said, then Nathanael exclaimed, Rabbi, you are the Son of God, the King of Israel. So that was enough for him to believe. He said, you're the Son of God, you're the King of Israel. And then Jesus says, do you believe this just because I told you I had seen you under the fig tree? And again, you keep seeing this constant questioning. And because Jesus does a lot of questioning, he's not just going to let people just take things and slide. He's not going to let people take statements and just let them go. He says, you believe this just because I told you this? You know, did you just believe just in this simple thing? And then he say, you will see greater things than this. So he not just tells him, was your faith that small that you believed? You'll see even more things then. And again, I guess it shows that theme. This is a reach, but I think it's more so. It's kind of like the Matthew principle: what you have, what little you have, more will be given to you. And he believed him based off a claim. Jesus made a claim that I seen you, and apparently it was enough for him to believe because he says you are the God. You're the King of Israel. You are the Son of God. And he's like, wow. But what I've heard was even important thing was just important term was the Son of Man. That was a more important term. Why? I forget why. But I say just Google the term Son of Man. I know people say Son of God is a big deal. Google the term Son of Man. But yeah, and you'll keep seeing this. People will make claims, and Jesus asks them to back up your claim. And I'm like, that means Jesus is a rational person. He's not gonna just take things as they are. And I was like, that's a rational, genuine person. That's a person who's not gonna sit here and just like, who's just gonna accept dogma. Like, hey yo, do this because I said so. And he's like, why do you say so? You know, why do you do this? You know, he asked questions. And so he says, then he said, I tell you the truth, you will all see heaven open and angels of God going up and down on the Son of Man, the one who is the stairway between heaven and earth. Down on the Son of Man, the one who is the stairway between heaven and earth. And so I can't say, I don't know. So yeah, that's all I got. Um, I'm gonna keep on following this series. I'm hopefully give it the same name. Who is Jesus? But today we learned that Jesus is a rational person. He asked questions. He wasn't a person that just allowed people to just make statements about him or to him. And when he made statements to other people, they asked questions. So it's okay to ask questions. So just take a look at the scriptures. I just read John chapter 1, verses 35 all the way to 51. Jesus is not he's not gonna run away from your questions. That's all I got, guys. I'm sorry.